Thank you for joining the CDBG Grant Administration Manual Training Series. My name is Erin McKeon, and I'm an Infrastructure Specialist for the Community MT Division with the Montana Department of Commerce. I'll be presenting with my colleague, Rosie Goldich, the CDBG Coordinator. During this presentation, we will be discussing the Project Monitoring and Closeout chapter and toolkit from the newly updated CDBG Grant Administration Manual. I have a couple notes to cover before we get started. These presentations are recorded and will be available on our website shortly after the series has concluded. You can find these slides along with our Grant Administration Manual on our website. We will now show you how to get there. Please go to commerce.mt.gov, select the Infrastructure and Planning tab at the top, then select Community Development Block Grant Program. The CDBG manual link will be found on the left-hand side of your screen. We ask that you please save all questions until the end of our presentation. Thank you. Today's agenda will cover chapter updates with key points on monitoring and closeout. We will also be explaining our new monitoring and closeout toolkit. An important update that we would like to share with you is that our CDBG monitoring checklist has been revised. Commerce staff have shortened the old monitoring checklist to 25 pages. This will be reviewed during monitoring visits between grantees and commerce specialists. Next slide. Some key points that Rosie and I would like to touch base on today in this chapter will include an overview, on-site project monitoring, monitoring letter, project closeout overview, and grantee closeout responsibilities. Next slide, please. For overview of grantees' responsibilities. Grantees are responsible for administering their CDBG projects in accordance with all applicable state, federal, and program requirements. Commerce must be provided with reasonable access to books, accounts, records, reports, and files pertaining to CDBG funded activities. The Montana state law asks that a grantee provide members of the public with access to records regarding CDBG funds. Next slide, please. An overview of commerce responsibilities. Commerce staff will monitor the project from startup through closeout, working with grantees and their administrators to meet compliance requirements. Commerce staff monitor each project with a local project manager through regular communication and required quarterly reports. Commerce specialists ensure grantee is following compliance through training, technical assistance, and mandatory project file reviews prior to closeout. Next slide. On-site project monitoring. Commerce staff will schedule at least one on-site monitoring visit. This is typically done once construction has started. Commerce will use the updated monitoring checklist to review the grantees' files. Prior to monitoring, Commerce staff will coordinate a time and date with the grantee and administrator, if applicable. Please note, this is not an audit from Commerce. I like to say this is a meeting among friends. The purpose of Commerce monitoring visits is to ensure Commerce files and grantees files contain the same documentation in case of an external audit for both parties. Next slide. A monitoring letter. Commerce will provide a post-monitoring letter to the grantee within 30 days of the visit. Commerce will aid the grantee in avoiding or resolving any monitoring findings. The post-monitoring letter will contain the following general elements: description of covered topic, description of statutory or regulatory requirements, conclusions the reviewer has reached, statement describing basis of conclusion, Commerce monitoring report. These terms on the post-monitoring letter, when a monitoring observation is less than satisfactory, will be satisfactory performance, concern, question of performance, and finding. Next slide, please. Now to your monitoring toolkit. In the monitoring toolkit, you will find the CDBG monitoring checklist for all projects. If you have an economic development or a housing project, an additional monitoring checklist is needed. Those additional checklists include the CDBG monitoring checklist, economic development supplemental questions, and the CDBG housing completion checklist. Should you have any questions on which monitoring checklist is needed for your project, please reach out to your Commerce Program Specialist. Next slide, please. In this final slide on monitoring, you'll see links to our 3 monitoring checklists. If you experience any kind of problem with these links or trouble finding your project-specific checklist, again, please reach out to your Commerce Program Specialist for additional assistance. This completes the monitoring portion of this presentation. My colleague Rosie Goldich will now discuss project closeout.
Good morning, everyone. Next slide, please. After the project monitoring has been finalized and the scope of work has been completed, the project closeout can begin. In the monitoring and closeout chapter, starting on page 4, the closeout process is detailed. The first portion of the closeout section includes the project closeout overview, reminding CDBG grantees and associated staff that all information necessary to comply with CDBG requirements should already exist within project files. The required documentation that must be submitted to Commerce is the project completion report, meeting project audit requirements, and closeout forms and other certifications. The required CDBG closeout documents can be found in the Monitoring and Closeout Toolkit, which we will review shortly. Next slide, please. Next portion of the closeout chapter explains the grantee closeout responsibilities and associated documentation, including preparing a project completion report, final auditing requirements, closeout forms and certifications, if applicable, program income reporting, and additional closeout exhibits. These documents ensure that not only state requirements, but also federal CDBG requirements have been fulfilled. Topics such as Section 3, DBE, MBE, and WBE, or disadvantaged business enterprise, minority-owned business enterprise, or woman-owned business enterprise. Labor standards, beneficiary data are all reviewed during this time. Please note, grantees must keep records for 5 years after the project closeout to comply with federal regulation. Next slide. In the previous monitoring and closeout toolkit, the closeout documents were in individual files and exhibits. Now, the final closeout documents are in one central location, titled the Final Closeout and Report. So instead of submitting multiple exhibits, please submit the one final closeout and report in addition to other documents previously discussed. The direct benefit spreadsheet is only for projects that include direct beneficiaries. For example, direct hookup projects, not area-wide benefit projects. If you are wondering if your project must submit a direct benefit spreadsheet, please contact your project specialist. The contract reporting form, as seen on this slide, is also required as a part of the closeout process. This document includes information regarding Section 3 worker and business reporting, DB, MEB, WEB reporting, and contract, including subcontract engagement. Next slide. We have completed the monitoring and closeout chapter and toolkit presentation. We will now open the floor for questions. If you have a question regarding either the chapter or the toolkit, please raise your hand and a presenter will call on you shortly. Okay, if there's not any questions, thank you for joining us this morning. The next presentation of the CDBG Grant Administration Manual training series will begin at 11:30 with the Economic Development chapter. Thank you.